It's Tuesday, March 29th, here in the Cuyahoga County Administration Headquarters. See Ellen Conley room, council room. Roll call, please.
Calling the roll, Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Ms. Conwell. Ms. Conwell is absent at the moment. Mr. Tuma.
Here.
Mr. Jones.
Here.
Ms. Simon. Ms. Simon is absent at the moment. There is a quorum.
Thank you. Is there public comment?
No, Mr. Chair, no one is signed in.
Gentlemen, in your packets, there are the meetings of March 1st. If they're in order, I'll accept a motion in a second.
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? 2022-0060.
Resolution number 2022-0060, authorizing an amendment to a master contract with various providers for traditional residential treatment services for the period 2/1/2021 through 1/31/2023.
Hello. Good afternoon. Hold on one sec. I think we need your,
Sorry about that.
you do it over again.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Okay. Tara Brown, Juvenile Court, seeking approval on a resolution to authorize an amendment to a master contract with various providers for traditional residential treatment. And this is to fund the second year of a 2-year contract with 10 providers who provide residential treatment services for various significant mental health disorders, sex offenders, and substance abuse, in mostly secured, not locked facilities with the exception of 2.
Further?
Questions?
Any questions? Just a continuation of what we do and what you do. Council President?
Sure. Just curious, can you tell me how many children or individuals are served through the contract?
In 2021, there were 30 youth served.
Across all
Yes,
vendors?
across
30?
all vendors, yes. And with an average stay of 180 days.
Thank you.
Looking at the date, we are past time, so I would assume you would like this to move quickly.
Yes, we have been rendering services, but we do need to pay our vendors.
Well, without objection, I would recommend Resolution 2022-0060 to the full council under second reading adoption. Do I have a
Second.
second?
Second.
Is there any further comment? All in favor? Aye. Against? Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Conwell is in attendance, and did you do the disclaimer?
I apologize, Mr. Chair. For all who are in attendance and who are watching, this meeting is being live streamed and recorded on the county's YouTube page.
Thank you. 2022-0062.
Resolution number 2022-0062, making an award on requisition number 3382 to Alcohol Monitoring Systems in the amount not to exceed $2,625,000 for GPS, alcohol bracelets, and monitoring services.
Good afternoon, council members. Donna Khalil, Sheriff's Fiscal Manager. This is for our electronic monitoring unit. This was a RFP that we put out. We did get 8 proposals. We had 8 people score from both Common Pleas and from the Sheriff's Department. This contract will span both, all 3 agencies, Common Pleas, Sheriff's Department, and the JJC. So this is a joint, collaborative effort for this particular contract. It's for $2.6 million for all 3 agencies combined over the course of 3 years.
How many total monitors are there?
Well, it's because we've been trying to keep the ADP in the jail down. If you look at like 2020, we averaged about 350 people on throughout the year. Then in the first quarter of, in 2020, and then in the first quarter of 2021, it jumped to 450, and in the last 3 quarters, it jumped to 550. So we can have as many monitors as we want in this contract, but right now we're averaging around 550 per quarter, 550 a day.
Can you explain alcohol bracelets? Help me understand what alcohol.
My understanding with the alcohol bracelets, which is, that is the one that, for people who've like been charged with a DUI. So the alcohol bracelets are for people who are on house arrest and that are not supposed to be drinking at all. So these bracelets can determine if there is alcohol in their system, and then, of course, an alert will go off if they're drinking when they're not supposed to be drinking. And I brought some help with me in case there's more detail you want that I can't give you.
Just curious.
Okay.
So if it is detected, what happened? They're in the home. So I'm thinking of the other bracelets where, obviously if you leave the home, they know this is someone that's in the home, they consume alcohol, the alarm goes off. What happens? What do you do?
I don't know that, because I know with the GPS, if the alarm goes off, if somebody breaks their zone, of course, we respond. With the alcohol, I don't know. Does anyone know what we do?
Hello, everybody. I'm Sergeant John Denites, and I run the electronic monitoring unit. So with the alcohol bracelets, they're monitored on a 24/7 basis, and once we detect an alcohol event, which is you would be consuming alcohol, the program alerts us and the SCRAM system, alcohol monitoring systems, to confirm the alcohol event. Because if you say put cologne on, since it has alcohol in it, so it differentiates, is it an environmental thing or is it an actual alcohol drinking event? And then that person is arrested.
Come to the home at that moment.
It depends. Sometimes we go to the home. Sometimes they, if you were tested today and you had probation appointment tomorrow, they would just wait till you came in tomorrow. So it's generally up to the judge.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question on
ma'am.
that point? Through the chair to the officer. My colleague asked about the alcohol monitoring system. I'm just wondering, I thought it was more based on due to their drunk driving, instead of not just drinking alcohol, but because they were actually behind the wheel of a car. Am I wrong?
So it's dependent upon the judge. Sometimes they use it as in lieu of jail for somebody that's seeking treatment. I'm a member of the high-risk domestic violence court, and they use it to make sure that their people are not consuming alcohol while they're seeking treatment for their alcoholism.
I didn't think of that with the domestic violence, but thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chairman, is this also a house arrest component as well? Are they required to stay in the home or are they free to?
So the system has four different categories. Standard monitoring, which is you're on lockdown and only the judge can allow you to leave. We have home detention, which the probation officer monitors your schedule, so you can get permission to leave from the probation department, from your officer. Then we have curfew. The judge sets the curfew. If they want you home at 7 p.m., you have to be home at 7 p.m. until, say, 6 a.m., just whatever hours they set. Then the last one is inclusion-exclusion, where you're free to do what you want. You just can't go into the exclusion zones, which are generally the geographical areas where the victims live, work, or go to school.
I physically toured the ankle monitoring system, and are you located in the same space, or are you in?
Oh, yeah, I run the unit. It's in the Justice Center, back in the sex offenders unit, yes.
So it's all under you there.
Pardon?
It's all under you, whether it's the ankle bracelet or.
Yeah, everything's 24/7, every day.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
As the amount of ankle bracelets that are being used, is the amount of personnel increasing, or are you stuck at a number?
So what we've done in the past, when we went from 300 to 450 to 625, every jump requires an additional personnel for both the probation department and the sheriff's department. So, we have to jointly decide whether or not we're going to raise the amount of bracelets that we currently use.
Anything further? Looking at the time, we'll run out, so we're going to have to move this so you can implement this, correct? If it's okay with the committee, I would recommend Resolution 2022-0062 to the full council under second reading suspension.
A second.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. 2022-0077.
Also, I'd like the record to reflect that Ms. Simon is in attendance.
Welcome, Ms. Simon.
Resolution number 2022-0077, making an award on requisition number 8504 to Esposito Mortuary Services in the amount not to exceed $3,692,000 for body transportation services.
Good afternoon, Hugh Shannon, Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's Office. So this is our contract with Esposito. They are our current body contract company. We went out to RFP. This is a good organization. We haven't had any complaints, problems. They upgrade their training and they upgrade their facilities and worked with us, especially during COVID. We had some issues with body storage that we had to try to mitigate, and they were right there with us, working with the state to get trailers up here if we needed them, storing the trailers there. So we've been very pleased with them, and when we went through the bid process, they were not the low bidder, but they were the most compliant, and we recommend that we move forward with this contract.
So this was, historically, this was before SB4, and it had to go back out for rebid for whatever reasons, and
Correct.
Now we're set.
Correct.
You said it wasn't the low bid. Who was low bid, and why would we go with not the low bid, understanding that it's lowest and best?
Correct. Mr. Chairman, so we had two bids. The other bidder was not only the low bid, but it was considerably lower to a point where, in our estimation, they were ill-prepared and unfamiliar with all of the needs that would be required to pick up this many bodies a year over the length of this contract. And even from smaller items like body bags and fuel for the vehicles, the numbers just were way off. So we didn't feel confident that they were ready to take on that undertaking. And with the circumstances being what they are, it's not probably the best time to break in somebody new that isn't prepared.
Well, therefore, the best is involved.
Correct. We definitely went with the quality that we're assured of, yes.
Committee, Ms. Simon, and
Just a question about, you said the circumstances as they are, and I guess you briefly touched on that. What exactly, with specificity, are the circumstances as we sit here today, as it relates to this contract?
So we are obviously still under pandemic conditions. Fortunately, they're subsided for the moment. They weren't at the time that this was being done. But we've also had significant increases in violent crime and drug deaths again over the last year, or over the last 2 years, actually. And we don't have any indications that either of those cases or circumstances are subsiding. So we're pressed to have people who are professional and who know what they're doing. They know the layout of the county. They know our operations. They work hand in hand with us. That's very important for us.
So if I can follow up, so it's sort of trading one for the other too, as COVID deaths or those deaths go down, perhaps now the violent crimes are upticking and continue that way. So it seems like we're at a higher level than we have been in years in terms of need. So
especially with gun violence, homicides are the highest we've seen in 40 plus years. We're still tallying, our statistics from 2021, but we're at or near the high watermark for drug deaths that we've ever had. So those two alone have driven our caseloads up. And as you all know, we also contract, we have contracts with other counties who don't have the facilities and the and the personnel that we have to do their autopsy work for them. That number has doubled over the last 5 years. So we were doing 250 cases out of county. Now we're doing 500, 600. So it's a lot of extra bodies coming in and out of the facility in order for us to maintain our chains of custody and identifications and keeping all of that straight, which, you know, that's kind of like our nightmare scenarios. Like, you don't want the wrong person going to the wrong place at the wrong time. That's one of the critical roles that this company plays for us out in the community. So,
And where are they located?
they have a couple of facilities. Esposito, I think their main is just on the near west side.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Hugh, what is the caseload in terms of the homicides?
So we've had in excess of 250 homicides countywide the last 2 years, which, again, that has not happened for 40-plus years in Cuyahoga County.
Probably more than double since we started 10 years ago.
Yeah, so if you go back tracking, you know, gun-related deaths, homicides, et cetera, we've doubled probably, at least since Dr. Gilson and I came in about a decade ago. So, but yeah, the levels are extremely high right now.
It's a crisis. Next question. The other vendor, where were they located?
Medina County.
Do they have any local facilities here?
So they listed one of their employees' homes, which we didn't feel was suitable. That was another issue. Obviously, the response times are important. So being, you know, located in Medina County made us question whether or not they would be able to get to all the places in Cuyahoga County within the time allotted.
That's it. 'Cause you're right. Coming to a home, it's one thing to have the employee there, but the vehicles needed if they're stationed in Medina. There's a time factor that's important when the family's at a home waiting.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So lowest and best was this company.
Correct.
All right. Thank you.
Further questions? Hearing none and looking at the timeline yet again, I'm assuming you want this to move forward.
That would be appreciated.
Without objection, I would recommend Resolution 2022-0077 to the full council under second reading suspension. Do I have a second? Yes, ma'am.
Second, Simon.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Thank you.
Thank you.
Miscellaneous business? Hearing none, we're adjourned.
All right.
Move it.